everyone, welcome back to the channel Brains and Beauty. I'm a PhD student studying brains and also a beauty lover, and on my channel I focus on creative conscious consumerism. So part of that is actually using color theory in order to be able to play with any color that I want without having to purchase dozens and dozens of products to be able to play with all of those colors. So that fits in with this video because I purchased the Suva Beauty Primary UV palette. So I purchased this during the holiday sales, and this is a type of eyeliner formula known as a cake liner. So it's pretty much dry when it's in the palette, but you can activate it using water and then that will turn it into a liquid liner, and then using the brush you can pretty much apply it like any liquid liner. But given that it is activated by water, that means that it's not waterproof, but I'm okay with that. I've loved a lot of eyeliners before that are not waterproof. The other special thing about this palette from Suva Beauty is that these are UV colors, so they can just look like really nice bright colors like this under normal lighting. But if you shine with a UV light, you get more of that UV fluorescence effect. Now, I'm a super colorful person. I love colorful eyeshadow, but I've never actually bought colorful eyeliners because I felt like they would likely dry out before I actually got to properly use them. And I just want like every color under the sun. So this is pretty much the perfect product for me because I can make every color using this and it's not going to dry out. Now, I will say one thing is that sometimes I do just want to mix using this palette, like I will just mix on the back of my hand and apply it to my eyes. I already did one look using this palette, and I had mixed the yellow, blue, and the white to make kind of like a lime green. But I think for the shades that I want to use the most, like the shades that I know that I'll get a lot of use out of, that I want to just be able to reach into my collection and use rather than mix it on the spot while I'm getting ready, I want to actually pre-mix them. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to be pre-mixing a bunch of shades that I want as colorful eyeliners using these, and I'm going to place the pre-mixed shade into these pans. So I have cleaned and sanitized these pans, and I think this way I will be able to get a lot more use out of these because I can place them into my magnetic palette with my eyeshadows when I'm like building color stories. But yeah, just to give you like a speed review on my thoughts of this product, it arrived in really cute packaging, and I reused it when I packaged some gifts to my friends, so it was really cute. And I didn't expect to get this light with the package. Like, I just bought this palette from Suva and this ended up in the box as well. So I'm pretty happy that they also give you something to just be able to see the UV effect using it. And then yeah, in terms of quality, I think the only thing that I can really say is like something I've heard is an important factor in terms of the quality of cake liner is if the really light shades like the white crack. And so I did do a wear test and wore this for 5 hours, just like a white line, and it didn't crack. So overall, I feel like this is good quality, and I'm excited to get more use out of it once I have made a bunch of pre-mixed shades. Now, these square pans are aluminum, and I did actually message Suva Beauty and ask them like for any advice, like if there's a certain type of pan I can use, and they did say that aluminum pans would be a good pan to use. Now, I do want them to be magnetic so that I can add them into my custom palettes. And normally the kind of pans that I would use for eyeshadows that I put into custom palettes are made of tin, not aluminum. But tin pans will rust if there's like an acidic pH, which that includes water. So for that reason, you can't put these cake liners into, for example, the sample eyeshadow pans that I use. So like these tiny little pans, these are tin. And so I couldn't actually use these, although I would have loved to use these. I had to purchase aluminum pans, and this was like, there wasn't smaller options than this. And I tried to see if there was any kind of actually magnetic aluminum pans there. I don't think there are. I found the one listing that said that this was like a magnetic and aluminum pan, and yeah, it's not actually magnetic, so I will show you. So this is a magnetic sheet, and I use this when I want to make custom palettes, for example in my picture frame palettes, and as you can see the tin does attach to it, but this aluminum pan does not. So it's just not magnetic. Now luckily I did have some of these pieces that you can stick onto pans to make it magnetic, and so I've stuck these on already to all of the pans to at least make it magnetic. So yeah, you will need some of these. I only had like these came with a magnetic palette that I bought off of Amazon a while back, so I just used those, but there were also circle ones, and these were a bit too big for the square pans. So when I ran out of the square ones, I added like circle ones. Like I cut them in half and I added circle ones to the bottom. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it work just so that I can make all of these magnetic. I just left this one so I could demonstrate to you that even when it says, you know, the aluminum pan is magnetic online, it's not. Like I don't think there is. If there is something like that, let me know in the comments, but I just don't think there is. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stick this last one on. And the last thing I want to tell you before we get started is just that I did try this out already with the white shade. So at first what I did, because I'm used to mixing things for my Make It or Buy It series, like I'm used to mixing eyeshadows, and I usually use this spatula and just scrape off the top layer of my eyeshadows to mix. And so I thought maybe I could do that here as well, like just scrape off the top layer, but this is very hard. And I found when I was doing the white one, like as much as I tried to scrape, it was coming off in such tiny flakes that it's just not worth it to try to scrape product off of here and then wet it in here. It's just better to put the water, you know, or get this part wet and then scoop that out and put it into the pan. So that's what we're going to be doing. My plan for my go-to shades is going to be a row of rainbow, so just mid-tone rainbow, a rainbow row that's super deep and blackened, and then a pastel rainbow row. And then the last row I'll do is going to be some tertiary grungy tones that I really like for example, a teal, a mustard, a plum, that sort of thing. So yeah, let's just get started. For the remainder of the video, I'm just going to put some relaxing lo-fi music, so I hope you do enjoy this part of the video. Okay, so those are all the shades I wanted to make. That took a lot longer than expected. Like, I think like 5 hours total, but yeah. The main reason is that you really have to take time to dissolve the cake liner chunks. So I honestly was just putting on a couple of videos and just watching them while I like melted the cake liner into the water. So I suggest doing that if you're doing something like this because it's gonna take a lot of time for it to dissolve. It's not quick. And at some points I was just putting in droplets to kind of get the other colors pre-dissolve before I reached that area. And even in the end for the black and the teal green, I basically just left some of the chunks to dissolve in the water and then started working on like the bluey purpley shade. So yeah, I found that like the thing that took the longest time was actually the um like dissolving of the cake liner. But I love how the pastels turned out. Even the brights, these were all really nice. I will say like the orange and the purple are a little deeper than what I wanted for the brights, but that's because of the red shade. Like, I learned in that row that this red, you just need the tiniest amount and it will make it super red and super dark. So you have to just be careful about that. I tried to be careful with the red when I was doing the pastels. And then this deep row actually ended up a lot grungier than I expected it to be. I really like the deep red, green, blue, and purple. But these two, it didn't go as expected. I feel like the red just kept taking over the orange shade. And so I eventually just ended up making it into a brown. And for this one, it's kind of strange because what I would wanted to do, I was mixing the yellow with the black, and I just wanted it to kind of deepen it, make it kind of like a yellowy brown kind of shade, but it ended up taking it into this more chartreuse realm. So I still really like this color and I'll use it, but it was just a bit strange how like the black and the yellow interacted. Um, Even the way it's kind of dried. Maybe that's because I didn't put in it too much, but I feel like the black leans a little blue, maybe, and that's why it's pushing it into this green realm. Rather than deepening it. And I felt the same way over here. Like I had a mustard color and I just wanted to deepen the mustard a little bit. So I added the black and then it turned it more into like a yellowy olive. And that's okay. I love this shade too, but it was just something to like keep in mind when you're doing these mixing that the black and with the yellow take it more to green even if you don't add any blue in. But yeah, I love olives, so I'm happy to have two olives here. I also made like a more cool tone, deeper olive here, and then I made like a foresty tealy green here, and then this last one, I was gonna make it more of a blurple, but I actually like this kind of deep royally blue, so I decided to just keep that kind of royally blue here. So I'm excited to play with these on my eyes and to do eye looks with them. And I feel like I might even adjust some of the shades after I see how they look on my eyes, but I'm happy with where they are at right now. And I'll update you in a future video on how I feel about that. Also, I will track how many uses I get out of these, and I'll also let you know how much uses you can get out of them. Now, as you can see with the palette, quite a bit of it has been used up, especially like the yellow and the black. I feel like those are almost empty. As you can see here, like the red, there's still so much of it. So I might need to purchase like the actual containers that come with more of these two shades. I anticipated this, because these pans are not that deep and it's more meant for using this palette to like to create one liner color at a time. But this is what I wanted to do with it, and I still think I can get a lot of use out of this the way it's originally intended for, like making additional colors that I don't want to premix. But I wanted to have these so that I can put them into my magnetic palettes. So yeah, I'm just gonna let them dry. So editing room here, basically the next morning, once everything had dried, I noticed that that yellow black shade was just looking a little bit weird. So I decided to add water into it and nothing else. And then I just wanted to mix it again. And yeah, it just hadn't been mixed properly. So that yellow and black make this kind of green shade. And originally I had thought that that was because the black was a bit blue tone, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think it's because the yellow is more of like that kind of neon-y, cool toned, almost greeny type of yellow because it's so neon. And so it really easily leans green, which is what happened here. I added white to it just because I wanted to get something a little bit brighter, and then I ended up with this kind of sage green. I'll still use it up. I like this kind of color, but it's not one of those staple colorful eyeliners that I had intended to have in my collection. So instead I realized I didn't have a neon green, and so I put majority of the yellow with a touch of blue, and I made this perfect neon green. That's all it took. And it's pretty cool how all of the shades can actually have that kind of neon effect under the UV light. So I put all of these on my shelf in my display cabinet, and I'm just so excited to now have colorful eyeliners in my collection and to include these in future magnetic custom palettes. So if you like that content or mixing content in general, please do subscribe. And if you like this video, please do give it a like. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!